Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Olivia, or Liv, or whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. Today, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite things, which is mascot horror. Now, I don't play mascot or indie horror video games because I'm a chicken and I already have bad enough nightmares and I don't really need, Freddy Fazbear like spooking me in my dreams. But I do love to watch other people play them, and I love to theory craft around them and the lore and the ARGs and everything of everything. It's so much fun to me. I literally love it. January 30th, a brand new chapter of the game Poppy Playtime is going to be releasing, and I am so excited. I've been waiting for a new chapter for so long. So, I'm not going to theory craft because I feel like that's just yelling into the void of so many YouTubers who already do that. And while I would love to scream into the void with everybody, I just don't think I can articulate it well enough. But what I can articulate is how Poppy Playtime has set itself apart from every other indie horror game, mascot horror game on the market right now, and what they've done so well and created a brand and a video game that has excelled beyond its peers. And that's what I'm going to talk about, because that's very much in my realm of knowledge. So, let's go. An overview of what I'm going to cover in this video is we're going to start with what the story is, what's happening, so in case you don't know what Poppy Playtime is, we can all be on the same page. Then we're going to go into the background of mascot horror with the game that set the rubric, FNAF. From there, we're going to talk about some other games that didn't do too well. I'm not going to name drop, but we're going to talk about some games that were there, that happened. And then we're going to finally dive into Poppy Playtime and where they've gone above and beyond in their marketing and branding and game development and all the fun things. Poppy Playtime is a mascot horror game that has taken over the indie horror scene since its release in October of 2021 from Mob Entertainment. The game consists of 4 chapters, adding to the evolving mystery of the missing employees of the now defunct Playtime Co. The latest chapter just released, hopefully, depending on when I post this. Hopefully I post this on Friday or Thursday. Or Saturday like it's supposed to be. So I'm trying to stay as relevant as possible, both info-wise and content-wise. Do you see? You get where I'm going? So to begin, we're going to talk about the story. I'm just going to go over it in broad strokes because it's a lot of intricate details and lore and everything, and that's a different video. I could do it, but it's a different video that I'm not prepared for today. There are plenty of people out there doing, the lore videos. Not me. It's not me. In the game, you play as a returning employee to the now defunct Playtime Co. toy factory. Playtime Co. in its heyday was the best company, known for its innovative toys and child-focused branding. It produced hit toys like Huggy Wuggy, Mommy Longlegs, and, of course, the Poppy doll, who could actually communicate with children. But that was 10 years ago, and the factory has been sitting empty since. Or at least that's how it's supposed to be. You've been called back via a mysterious note saying that your co-workers are still somewhere inside the building. And ooh, now you gotta go save them. That's the prompt. That's how you get there. Upon breaking and entering, it's revealed that you are definitely not alone. As evident by the giant blue furry security guard, Huggy Wuggy. Yes, the factory was experimenting on people. Of course they were making living toys. It's a mascot horror game. What do you expect? The more time you spend in the factory, the more terrible things come to light, including experimenting on orphans. Also, partially brainwashing said orphans. And keeping and torturing them and their experiments, and then manufacturing free labor from those kids that they turned into toys. They turned them into toys. It's like Santa's workshop up there, except bloody and brutal. Long story short, these toys caught on to their unfair treatment and staged a revolution, called the Hour of Joy. This led to the fall of the company, because all of the employees got murked. Now you've returned under the guise of freeing your co-workers, and you are being guided by Poppy the living doll. I didn't mention all of that. There's a whole thing with Poppy. Who is she? Is she good? Is she bad? And no one knows yet. Maybe we'll find out in this new chapter. And I'm on the fence. I think she's kind of bad. She's kind of shady. But let me say, I have a qualm. I have like a thing that I don't think anyone's questioned. Poppy has spent the entirety of these 10 years locked in a cabinet, right? Why has nobody tried to free her? None of these other living toys. Is she that dangerous, or do they just not give a shit? Which is it? Or, conversely, why hasn't she banged her little fists on the glass? Like, she hasn't tried to, like, open the cabinet once, or, like, knock it over and break the glass? I have some questions. Why wasn't she ever released before this? Because, like, we're warned not to trust her at the beginning. So, just Kissy Missy never, like, went in that office and was, like, trying to unlock the I don't believe it. I don't buy it. Side note, I found this thing while I was doing research. This is a toy from the actual website. This is a plushie that you can buy. And that would be the cute and lovable character Dog Day. That tries to save us and encourage you to run before having his body restuffed with tiny little versions of the happy critters, or whatever they're called. Smiling critters. I was close. And then they like take over his body and like reanimate it, and then they try and kill you. So, a tortured plush, if you will. Kind of freaky. 0 out of 10. Now, we have to talk about FNAF, the rubric. If we want to talk about a game doing well in the indie horror space, we have to talk about the game that started it all in the modern era. Five Nights at Freddy's, or FNAF, if you will. I will, because I'm not sitting here saying so many words. Five Nights at Freddy's is a mascot horror game that released in 2015, following a night security guard working at the now-defunct Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. You work as a night security guard, watching over the animatronics. Think an old-school Chuck E. Cheese. Like, gross. Skip ahead a bunch of games and a lot of complicated lore later, and there are a bunch of dead kids hanging around, haunting the place, and a serial killer haunts literally everything, even the computer code. Even the coding. Okay? He's everywhere. He won't go away. He won't die. Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's was the first game of its kind, and it had the jump scares to back it up. Not to mention YouTube playability, and Scott Cawthon rode the wave of success and released the sequels in rapid succession. In some cases, he even disregarded the quality of the games themselves just to be able to release more games. The thing that Five Nights at Freddy's had that not a lot of games had at the time was this lore and this buildability that everybody just wanted to know more. Everybody wanted the information. They wanted to consume the next games, and they wanted to know what was happening and what Afton did to these kids, because it was like so sick and twisted that now every other game has to keep up. And something is ringing in the vent. It's Five Nights at Freddy's. Springtrap? Something is literally ringing in my air vent. Before we can talk about where Poppy Playtime excels, we have to talk about other games that have failed. Nothing mean, nothing aggressive, just, general opinions, things that didn't go well. Didn't go over well with the general audience. Some things the class didn't like. Because of the absolute inundation of games that were trying to ride the wave of the FNAF craze, the mascot indie horror, thing, there were so many games so fast. There were bound to be things that just didn't work. There were just some games that were made to make a cheap buck, and then there were some that tried to be different, but they just didn't, reach the right audience and fell through the cracks, unfortunately, because that's what happens. I just realized I don't want to, aggressively be like, that game did it, so we're not gonna talk about it, actually. I'm gonna back out of this one. So instead, we're just gonna say that some games half-assed their lore, and they were lazy, and they didn't make sense, and that's what happened, and that was it. And also, controversial opinion, I enjoyed watching people play Garten Banban, even though it was broken, even though it looks the way it looks. I think it's a funny game, and I will die on that hill. Okay. The story of Poppy Playtime is actually nothing new to the genre of mascot horror. It, in fact, fits a standard formula that we've come to love and kind of expect. Something targeted at kids or childhood nostalgia, plus something sick and twisted, equals a successful game. The story is twisted, but that's what keeps everyone coming back for more. We want to know what's gonna happen. We love the morbid mystery of it all. What were they doing to these kids? Why were they doing it? Each chapter adds another new level of twisted lore for the viewer, gamers, and theorists alike to enjoy. This buildable story is part of what makes Poppy Playtime excel so far, because they're not stuck in the same rut over and over again. Like the mechanics of Five Nights at Freddy's, where you play the same game multiple times with like different settings. It's building on its story, and it's building on its mechanics as it goes. We started with a simple story of an ex-employee returning to the old toy factory, with the surprise of a live toy store trying to kill us. And now we are at corrupt doctors doing tests on orphans, and also on himself, and like getting his consciousness like yanked from his body. Like, what? Hello? How'd we get here? A lot of indie horror games or ARGs in this like style, world, atmosphere kind of get stuck along the way, and they don't know how to continue. And Poppy Playtime has done a really good job of like pushing itself forward and beyond and coming up with these next things, while still keeping itself like in line with the story that we started with. Like, you can see the through line. Another weird thing that Poppy Playtime has been really good at, I mean like super good at, has been its branding. Its branding and its marketing. This is particularly in thanks to FNAF like laying the groundwork and paving a path for physical merchandise and the FNAF movie and things like that. Like, there was a desire for more toys and obtaining this IP, which is the game. If you don't know, the entertainment world crap. IP, the actual game itself, the intellectual property. I remember things from college. Mob Entertainment came out of the gate swinging, okay? They had their merch and they had their, like, contracts waiting. They were ready and willing to hand over their IP to the first company that were like, we want to make your movie. And they were like, yeah, we are going to make a movie. Although I think it got dropped and then it's, like, floating somewhere in pre-production, like, hell. But it is still being made, from what I've heard. They, like, didn't stop there. Like, they started their online merch store, and it was like, oh my god, merch. But they have toys in Target. Like, I went to the store, and I saw Poppy Playtime merch in the store, like Huggy Wuggy's giant face hanging on a shelf. Like, hello? Like, first of all, have we not seen the game? Kind of freaky. But secondly, like, oh my god, cool. Freaky, but cool. They also did a really sneaky ARG thing with NFTs, which we're not going to really talk about. We're just going to put to the side, but we are going to acknowledge that it did happen. And that's it. I don't believe in NFTs. I don't f with crypto. We're just going to leave it. Another huge point for Poppy Playtime is its skill. The actual skill of the game developers who have made the game. Now, Mob Entertainment is fully staffed by extremely talented game developers, and they are putting their all of this hard work and energy into making the best game possible. As a result, the game looks amazing, and it functions well. Gone are the weird glitches of Security Breach, or whatever the hell was wrong with Garten Banban. It's just a clean, cohesive game that people want to watch and people want to play. They want to be immersed in this world, as freaky as it is. Outside of the game, Mob Entertainment also put together an amazing ARG that kept people entertained and enthralled in what was happening inside the world of Poppy Playtime while the game was in development. And while I personally wasn't following along with the ARG, I've like kind of tried to catch up and like speed run what's going on so I can know what's going on for chapter 4 and I could know enough to not sound like an idiot in this video. It was impressive. Like, it put every ARG I've ever paid attention to kind of to shame. It was cool. Mob Entertainment knows what their audience wants. They know who their players are. They know how to draw us in, and they're playing into it. They know what they're doing. Looking to the future, I believe that the future of Poppy Playtime is a bunch of more well put together chapters, honestly. I think a good clean number to finish telling this story would be like 10. Maybe. I don't know. The story can always branch out from there. Like, what if an orphan escaped and, like, grew up and is now, like, trying to expose them or something? Could someone hack into Playtime Co? Like, could they see all the crazy, like, stuff, the files? Or, like, what if someone just found a file and, like, photocopied that shit? Like, hello? Oh, or, like, an urban explorer. I couldn't tell what I wrote. Or, like, an urban explorer, like, breaks into the factory and then, like, oh my god, living toys. I think the game has a bright future. Whatever the future may be, however the chapters are going to play out, whoever the big bad is, whatever happens, you know, I think Poppy Playtime is going to be here to stay in our consciousness for a little longer, and I will happily be here to watch it happen. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me rant and talk about something I love to talk about and think about. I will be here, hopefully, next Saturday to talk about something else I like a lot, as is the point of this series. It's called Special Interest Saturday, where I infodump and word vomit in front of a camera and edit it to not sound as stupid as I sound right this second. Please subscribe if you like this video or you like me or my vibe or my personality. I don't know. I think I'm fun. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!